Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Perfect. You caught me at the perfect time. We're doing another vintage game review. It's of Antz Extreme Racing for the original Xbox. Now, as a kid, I had this game, and I love this game. This game is based off of the movie Antz with a Z. As a kid, I was absolutely terrified of that movie, but I think it's pretty okay now. I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to Bug's Life, but this game was cool nonetheless when I was a kid. But how does it stack up now when I'm not a kid?
So this is Antz Extreme Racing for the original Xbox, released in 2002. Like I said, it's based off the movie, which I thought was alright, and I played this game as a kid, so let's get right into it. There's no story to speak of in Antz Extreme Racing. There's no tie-in to the movie. I guess they're just having events, racing events, for no reason. So if you couldn't tell, Antz Extreme Racing is a racing game. Wow. There are 3 types of racing in this game. There is in a vehicle, or on a spider, or running on foot, and a flying insect. Well, that's 4, but the vehicle and spider are pretty much the same. They all control pretty much the same way also. The only difference is that the flying insects, you can actually control your altitude, you can move up and down, and when you're running, you can actually jump. Occasionally, you'll be on a board or some leaf, but it's basically the same as when you're on foot, and this is really infrequent. They all have different courses, at least. The actual racing itself is pretty basic, in terms of racing, to a normal racing game. The game does include items similar to Mario Kart that are a boost, a shield, basically a banana from Mario Kart, and basically what is a green shell. So yeah, there's only a few items, we're talking 3 or 4. These items really don't do much other than the boost. When you get hit by a green shell, your car just kinda hops and shakes. It doesn't actually slow down that much at all, and overall it really just isn't effective. Now, winning these races is going to come down to knowing the course, getting boosts, and dodging the stage hazard. Most stages have 1 hazard in it, whether it's rolling boulders or termites, etc. These are one of the only parts of the game that is actually interesting in the game. In the game, there is only 5 playable characters from the movie. Each character has their own events, or challenges as the game calls it. So, the challenge that one character might have is completely different from what another character will have. And to my knowledge, they don't overlap. I don't think they really overlap at all. This adds a little bit of replayability to the game, as going through all the challenges as one character takes 30 to 40 minutes. All the challenges are usually races, and if it's not a race, then it's a time trial, and if it's not that, you're probably just going through these flags, but these might as well just be a time trial as well. There really is nothing out of the ordinary when it comes to the racing, or the events in general. I don't really understand what's so extreme about this game. The courses are definitely not extreme, that's for sure. That's all I really have to comment for the gameplay. There really is not much else here to talk about. There's shortcuts, these are different, and there's multiplayer, but I don't know anyone who is going to want to play this game with me. So I guess on to the presentation. This game came out in 2002, and I'll be honest, this game does not look that great. I mean, I wasn't expecting something great, but this game really does not look any better than a Nintendo 64 game, other than the models. I will compliment the models and say they look like the movie models, and they're pretty decent. They animate decently as well. The models are the only part of the game that I can really compliment in terms of graphics. Everything else was pretty mediocre. The textures, the frame rate, it was not very good. The textures in particular were pretty bad and looked like a Nintendo 64 game. A good game to compare graphics to is Shrek on Xbox, which came out before this and is also a DreamWorks game. And that game looks way better in the texture department. That game actually looks good for textures. This game does not. It does not look good when it comes to textures. It's really just muddy, nothing stands out, and it has some really bad lighting. The frame rate also dropped on me multiple times. It's are you kidding me? This is the Xbox, not the PlayStation 1. Come on. I was really not impressed with the graphics at all. When it comes to sound, it was equally unimpressive. There's no voice acting in the game, which is just kind of jarring, really. And I was really? They couldn't even get stuff from the movie? But yeah, there's no voice acting. So I guess there's nothing to comment on. The sound effects were really basic, there is nothing out of the ordinary. Everything is generic and stock. Not a single sound effect really stood out. The music in the game was not horrible, but it wasn't that good. The main theme is pretty okay, but the rest of the music was pretty forgettable and stock/generic as well. There was just nothing really special here. The main theme was cool though, too bad I can't find it online, but the presentation as a whole was really just subpar and underwhelming. There was just nothing here. So with the underwhelming presentation, this brings us to the negatives of the game, which there is many of. I'm not even sure where to begin with the negatives of this game. I guess first we can talk about the controls. The controls in this game are just not that great. The vehicles do not turn how you would think they would, and some of them turn on a dime, or some of them are just really stiff. There is like a really high level of inconsistency when it comes to driving in this game. And when you have to fly up and down, it does not get any better. Running on foot, I will say, is actually pretty good in terms of controls, and is easily the best part of the controls. When you're on the board though, it's actually awful. It's slippery as hell, it's stiff as hell. It's just horrible. I hated being on the board in this game, and it was the worst part of the game in terms of controls. The controls are just not very good at all. They're just super finicky. My next issue is with the courses. These have got to be some of the most basic courses I've ever seen in a video game. Almost every course in this game is a really basic circle/oval of some sort, maybe a figure eight. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, almost every single course is this. And you can argue, well, Mario Kart has ovals or figure eights or whatever. Well, not every track. Like, every track in this game is a basic circle. It makes the game get really boring really fast because of how basic and underwhelming it is. Like, not a single track in this game stands out. They are all just bland and not very good. I did not have fun going through these tracks. They were all just kind of bleh. Then this brings us to the content. There is the 5 characters with all their different events. That's maybe like 3 hours of gameplay, or 4. But really, it's such an unexciting game to play that I honestly didn't even go and complete every single event. I did most of them though, and I just did not really like what I actually played. The game is just tedious, dude. It's boring, courses are lame, controls are not very good. A lot of the courses can be finished in seriously like under 2 minutes. The AI in this game cheats a bunch and somehow will just get way in front of you or way behind. Like, that's just straight up rubber banding, and it's not good. The items really don't make the game any more exciting, and it just goes to show how basic and shovelware this game really is. And it really upsets me because as a kid I loved this game, but I can see now that it really is nowhere near as great as I remember. And I didn't honestly think this was going to be the case. I thought the game was still going to be kind of fun. But I ended up just getting frustrated after playing this game because it was just not any fun. Even after the first like 25 minutes, and I was like, this game is hella basic and boring. I don't know what I saw in it as a kid. It just doesn't do anything out of the ordinary. It plays it way too safe. There's nothing extreme about this game. And maybe it's because it's a kid's game, but this game really just doesn't do anything for me. Like, it doesn't even stack up compared to other shovelware racing games like Shrek Smash and Crash, or even Madagascar Karts on the Wii. Like, even those were better than this. They had something. This is legitimately one of the worst racing games I've ever played, and one of the worst games on the Xbox, easily. It's dull, unexciting, controls bad, and it's just not fun to play, like at all. This game is not bad. It's really bad. Like, it's just not good. There's really just nothing positive to say about it. I mean, there's no reason to play it. It's not fun. It's not even representative of the movie. Bug's Life is a way better movie and game than this, and I'd say almost any other racing game is better than this. I have no idea how I liked this game as a kid. I'm surprised I wasn't bored or complaining the AI is cheating due to how rubber banding it is. Or that the game wouldn't even input my controls sometimes. Like, if the game is clunky, the courses suck, the items aren't good to use, with the racing, like, the racing in general, like, isn't even good. So what does this game have? Nothing. It has nothing. It is not even worth playing. It's not better than Sonic R. Even Sonic R, Sonic Drift is better than this. This game, like I said, is not a good game. It's one of the worst original Xbox games I've ever played, with the only one being worse is actually Aquaman. And this might be the worst racing game I've ever played. I'm not even exaggerating. I haven't really played any horrible racing games. I played some bad racing games, but they weren't this lame, and they had some appealing qualities, like anything. This game really just has nothing going for it, like at all. I don't know why as a kid I was so attached to this game, but unfortunately I went back and played it, and now I'm just ashamed of my younger self. The game was also released on Game Boy Advance, but I'm not even going to bother. Like, it wouldn't be hard to be better than this game, though. I shouldn't have honestly gone back to play it. I remember it being better than this. Overall, don't even bother with this game. Like, even, gosh, Bug's Life is just so much better. Where is Bug's Life 2?
Overall, Antz Extreme Racing, yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a thumbs down. I really did not particularly like this game very much nowadays. It's just way too basic for its own good, and it really just doesn't hold a candle to any racing game like at all from 2000, like the early 2000 era. I mean, this game just really does not hold up, and as a kid I loved it, but yeah, I'm sorry, Antz Extreme Racing, you're just, yeah, I'm sorry, but it's not gonna work out. Nope.